This is a Troy Bilt Storm 3090 snowblower. It's pretty massive. It's got a 30-inch wide clearing width. It's got a 357cc overhead valve engine. And the engines on these MTD snowblowers are made by a company called Powermore. They seem to be quite well made. They have a cast iron cylinder liner, and I believe these also have a ball bearing supported crankshaft like most of these Honda clone engines do. There's the slot for the key, primer, choke is down there, throttle's right there. It's got a remote chute control. You change the deflector angle by moving that up and down, and you press the trigger and you move it like that from side to side. Now on these MTD snowblowers, the controls are reversed. Normally this would be the auger control, but on this one it's the drive control, and the auger control is on this side. And these handles do lock in place. You can see that one's staying down when I'm just holding this one, and if I let go, that one lets go as well. One of the features on this snowblower that I like is the heated handle grips. There's a switch right there to turn them on and off. And these things are really nice to have when it's extremely cold outside. It keeps your fingers from freezing. This machine also has power steering. When you pull these triggers, there's one on this side as well, it unlocks the axle so it can turn easily. And so say if you want to turn right, you pull this one, it'll unlock that wheel from the axle. That one will stay engaged, and you get the point. It's got a 6 forward speed transmission, 2 reverse speeds, although really there's only 5 effective speeds. Once you go into 6, the cable just kind of gets loose, as you can see. 6 really doesn't do anything. But so that's that. It's got shear pin storage. This thing did break a couple of shear pins this year. Actually 3 to be exact. I think someone hit like a rock or a brick or something with it. I don't know, I wasn't using it at the time, but there is a shear pin for each section of this auger, because these are all separate. There's our 3-bladed impeller. This engine is awesome. It has a lot of power. Even if you have the RPMs set a bit lower, it still just goes through pretty much anything. It's got nice tires. Now one problem that I do have with this snowblower from time to time is if it's really cold and the thing has been sitting for a while and you try to engage the wheels, it'll just sit there and do nothing. You have to hold the handle down for quite a while and wait for the thing to warm up before it'll actually move. And you also have to turn the throttle up higher. I don't know if that's because something in there is getting frozen or if something just needs to be lubricated. The friction disc is in good condition, so it's not that, but that's just one problem that this thing has every once in a while. It's kind of annoying, but I'm sure it can be fixed easily, and I don't think that's a problem. I don't think it's a very common problem, because I read the reviews on these MTD snowblowers, and that's not something that I see a lot. It comes with this tool to unclog the chute with. I think most two-stage snowblowers these days come with those. It has reflective strips on the front, and it has holes for mounting drift cutters if you want those. Electric start, headlight. So this is a pretty fully loaded snowblower. This thing is very heavy, and it can be hard to maneuver at times, so just keep that in mind if you're planning on getting a snowblower this big. It's got a nice big gas tank. It takes forever to go through that tank. So the engine itself is pretty efficient. I'll take you around to the other side so you can see the valve cover. There's our valve cover and the exhaust. This thing starts up very easily, even when it's extremely cold outside, so you don't really even need to use the electric starter most of the time. A lot of people don't run the gas out of these at the end of the season, and what you end up with next season is an engine that surges up and down and runs like crap, and in some cases won't even start. So always run the gas out of these at the end of the season. I hear a lot of these surging up and down a lot of these MTD machines because people just don't bother to run the gas out of them. But this one runs perfectly fine. Somebody other than me did end up leaving gas in this thing all summer once. I think that was back in 2013, and it ended up running poorly because of it. So I had to take the carburetor apart, I cleaned it out, and like I said, that was back in 2013, and it has been fine ever since, because we always run the gas out of it. This engine doesn't burn any oil. I will insert a clip of this snowblower running that I recorded several years ago. I already drained all the gas out of this one, so I'm not starting it up now. I have used this thing commercially a few times, but for the most part it just gets used at home. I would like to put it through some more commercial use just to get a better idea of how durable it is. It seems to be holding up pretty well for what it is, because I think these machines are mostly meant for residential use. As you can see, the skid shoes are getting a little worn down, so these are going to have to be replaced soon. The metal on these isn't as thick as the ones you'd get on, like, say, an Aaron's snowblower. So overall, I think these are pretty decent snowblowers. They're not quite the same as an Aaron's, for example. That's okay. Please feel free to ask me questions if you have any, and thank you very much for watching.